Hello everybody. I'm back at it again. It's another video. Got another story, another hot one. You won't believe it, but might as well say it. Capitec and FNB, two of South Africa's biggest banks, have announced that from the 1st of July, every ATM withdrawal is gonna cost you 80 Rand. Let that sink in. That's wild. That's wild. That's insane. 80 Rand for each withdrawal. Doesn't matter even if you're throwing 50 Rand, doesn't matter if you're drawing 100 Rand, 80 Rand per withdrawal. Yeah, I don't think people are prepared for this and they're going to be sidestepped. Most people are going to be sidestepped for this. But I hope they can deal with it. I hope they can deal with it because they're going to notice only when it's late. Most people are going to notice at the end of July, or they're going to notice mid-July when the fees have reached their limits, when they're at their throats, when they're wondering where did all that money go? What's happening? This is insane. They should make more of an effort to announce this. It should be on SAPC. It should be a public announcement of another. It should be a campaign. The same way the campaign for politicians and politics and parties, this should have been a campaign. But anyway, yeah, let's go into it. Let's go into it. So for the publications that did cover the story, they have gotten a response from FNB and Capitec, right? So FNB and Capitec say that the new fee structure aims to address operational costs and maintain service quality. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I mean, everybody knows that FNB has been closing down its branches. They've been reducing its staff. And when you look at Capitec, I get it. They have been opening branches. But it's not equal. It's not equal. It would mean one thing if Capitec was doing this, but if FNB is also doing this and they both using the same reasons, it's not the same. This was more of a planned move. They came together, agreed this is gonna be the direction, and they are pushing this as the fee structure for every bank. Right now, any bank that doesn't participate will then watch these guys probably make a good profit the first few months because of people's ignorance. And it's gonna push every other bank to think, oh shit, I also want to catch in on the action. This is gonna damage the consumer's wallet. It's gonna kill most people's wallet. They're not gonna understand what's happening. Like, you, Jesus, man. Now, the thing is, most people don't even consider this, but bank fees have been increasing every year, side by side with inflation. It doesn't make sense, like, for them to now increase it this much when the inflation doesn't match the increase. But outside of that, if you look at even the reasons why they were increasing their fees, banks were still growing, malls were still getting bigger, they were getting more buildings, they were getting more space, they were opening more branches, they were getting more ATMs, they were having more employees. But in the last few years, when people have been reducing their dependency on cash, they can't then justify this move. It doesn't make sense. Like it's gonna strangle the consumer. But but let let me try and go into it in a more positive way. Let me see it for the positive. Let me not see it for the negative of what it's gonna do to the consumer. Let me see it for the positive. Let's see if I can break down those positives. Now, as I'm going through what are positives, I've got notes. Because I'm gonna go through these notes and I'm gonna again transition to go into my thoughts about this. So, to my notes, right? The positives. I had to get notes for this. right? Because you have to find positives in something that's strangling you financially. But the positives, this is to drive the cashless society by disincentivizing cash withdrawals. I get it. I understand people have been less dependent on cash, and now they see that this is the next direction forward. I get it. But the method they are using to go about this, it's if you're gonna disincentivize something, don't do it like this. Barriers to entry. This is like a barriers to entry tactic where they're gonna increase the price to prevent you from being able to access something. They stopping people from being able to access cash, physical cash, by driving up the fees. This is a crazy tactic. This is a crazy tactic. And here's the thing: this drive has effects. There's gonna be areas. This one push is gonna affect so many other things. But let me unpack this. Let me unpack this for you. Now, here's an effect we just went over, right? This will reduce cash transactions in society. We understand, but what does that look like? Especially for people that use taxis, for people that use Bolt. I mean, I understand that most people don't like to put in their card information in these apps because in situations like Bolt, you can get overcharged for a for a trip where you had a lower price. But when you're gonna put in your card information, they can actually take this money and without being able to negotiate for yourself, it's like a lost situation. I get that. I get that. But the people I think I feel for the most is the people that use taxis. The people that use taxis, even the drivers themselves depend on cash. For them, the whole economy is a full cash, hands-on driving economy. Doesn't involve the banks too much. And by the banks doing this, they are going to strangle the taxi economy. The messed up thing is that in that taxi economy, they're already seeing flames. They're already seeing flames. The competition with Uber, Bolt, with all these new cheaper ways of transport, people choosing to walk, people getting cars. It's it's a lot. The buses are coming back. People are using buses now. It's they seeing flames. And now to have the banks do this, it's gonna indirectly affect them. It's gonna mess with them. It's gonna mess with them. But let's keep looking at it. Let's keep looking at it. There's more effects. Another effect, right? This will have, which is a plus, by the way, is it's gonna help track financial movements to help avoid cases of fraud and tax evasion. We understand that the wealthy avoid tax, rich people avoid paying tax, and this puts the country in a bind. And yeah, people have high demands of the state, which then needs funds, and these funds come from tax, and most of this tax is paid by the consumer and business. So if most rich people are avoiding tax, and then there's also tax provisions made for business, which are made to help incentivize employment and business growth in a country, then the country is losing on both sides. So I get it when they're trying to find ways to mitigate this, to control it, so that they can collect more tax and also avoid the fraud aspect of it. But again, I say the tactic 80 rand per withdrawal. This is an insane tactic to use. It's an insane tactic. There's also the effect of reducing the risk of cash related crimes, your cash in transit heists. We know that security companies have been milking this industry because people need people with guns and heavy armor and training to protect their money. Money has to move from one business to the bank, from some place to another place. And during this movement, criminals take advantage. They go in heavy, they go in hot, they plan it, and they steal all that money. And by doing this, this will mean that in these trucks, there'll be less money. That means less money to steal. That means less money to be shared. That means less incentive to do the crime. I, I see the method. I see the method, but Jesus, man, 80 Rand per withdrawal. The consumer who is ignorant of this is going to feel this hit the most, and they'll feel this hit first. But I don't know. I don't know. Now, what this will do all in all is it will drive us to a China like country. Because everybody has been saying the whole of last year during the politicians run and everything, everybody has been quoting China. Look at China, the way the economy runs, the way the infrastructure runs. Right now, this drive is going to push us towards an economy like China, where everything is cashless. Whether you're going to a convenience store, whether you're paying someone in a taxi ride, whether you're going to a shop, somewhere, a supermarket, where they're sending money between people, everything is just going to be digital, cashless, and that's supposed to also reduce the footprint, right? Because this also helps the whole climate change agenda, right? If there's less paper being used to print money, then that reduces the what's called the carbon footprint that the country is having on the world. Some bullshit South Africa has to follow, which again, we don't produce that much pollution compared to all these other big countries. But yet, for those who understand, they get it. They get it. South Africa is being put in a bind by the people in charge, these other countries that own South Africa. So look at the vindictiveness of this tactic, right? These banks have given themselves a justifiable reason to charge customers more money, which translates for higher profits for themselves. Using this reason, using this specific reason, like, okay, we're driving society to a cashless economy where everyone's going to be just using digital payments and everything. In this last run, they are going to milk the people for as much as they can. Anyone who's not willing to abide, they will just take as much as they can because they're the banks and they can, like, like literally, they can do that. Like, if you think the country or the state is gonna go to the banks and say, hey, you can't do this or else. That's not going to be the case. That is never going to be the case. The banks have more power than countries. So you best believe in this situation, they're going to go through with this. And again, the ignorant consumer is going to feel the hit the most. I just I just hope that people have deep pockets. And we know they don't. But I just hope there's secret funds somewhere. Somewhere there has to be, because yeah, banks are about to make a killing right now. FNB and Capitec are about to make a killing right now. In these next few months, watch, watch. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I want South Africa to be great. I love my country. I want us to be like a China in terms of the technology and the efficiency and the growth and the opportunity. But I don't want it at this type of cost. This cannot be the methods that are being used to get people to comply. That's what I can say. These vindictive tactics. I don't support vindictive tactics. I don't support vindictive tactics. So I've got some alternatives for anyone there who's gonna try to help themselves. There is ways to help yourselves. So there's some alternatives, ways to go around this. So it's not a guarantee that this will work, but for now, it's a way to go around this. So let me go through them. Let me go through them. Here's some alternatives to help yourself. Make withdrawals at supermarkets like Checkers, ShopRite, and Pick and Pay. If anyone remembers, this has been happening for years, but banks allow for people to withdraw money at these big retailers for like 2 Rand a charge or something. Like, this is a tactic to also drive traffic to these places which are dying, by the way. ShopRites and Checkers have been closing down stores also. It's not just Pick and Pay, but they've been struggling. And this will drive traffic towards them if people take my advice. But going to make withdrawals there more frequently than maybe you would will save you money. More money even than when you would have gone to the ATM. But the thing is, ATMs are convenient because they're close by. And usually there's packages where the bank allows for ATM withdrawals that don't that fall within your bank fees, so you don't have to pay extra. But again, this tactic, this is a crap tactic they're using. So people should find ways to help themselves. So withdrawing money at these big retailers is one way to help yourself. It's like 2 rand a charge. Even if you withdrew like 5 times, in total you'd have paid like 10 rand a charge. And if you're gonna be looking at things like transport, then I think that's when you should start putting more planning into how much you're gonna withdraw when you go withdraw. For those who stay in stranded areas, it's crazy, but there's people also stay in like stranded areas where there is an ATM, but there's no like close by supermarket. You're gonna have to use transport. It's a crazy system, but for those who stay in those areas, they'll have to plan their withdrawals more, plan it ahead. Maybe plan how much you're gonna use within a month. Go throw that amount of money once at that ATM, pay the fee, and then be okay. Just use the money wisely and proficiently and efficiently, and you should be okay till the next month and maintain that tactic to keep your costs, your bank costs low. You're gonna keep them capped at your bank fees and your 80 rand per withdrawal charge added on top. That's another tactic you can use. But that takes discipline because when people have a lot of money, cash on hand in front of them, their mind tends to go through a trick. It's a situation, the psychology of money. It's a situation. Now, we all know spaza shops, my friends. They offer you the access to your money at 10 rand per 100 rand. You can withdraw at my friend. Now, I think whenever you're throwing an insane amount of money, we're talking maybe 1,000 rands, maybe, you should talk to the brother and negotiate a lower fee. Try if it'll work. I don't know. Some people's negotiation skills are crap, some people's negotiation skills are good. But try to negotiate for yourself a lower fee because it sure as well will be better than the bank's fee. But now you should also understand this is about application. The lower the fee, the better you go into the spaza shop. The higher the fee, you might as well just go to the ATM. That's what I can say because and at some point if you'll be crossing 80 rand giving to the spaza shop to withdraw your money, which is unnecessary. So I think the cap should be at like 800. So if you're withdrawing anything but like 500 below, with going to the spaza shop should be more practical, cheaper than just going to the ATM. But if you're going to be withdrawing a lot of money, again, rather start at the ATM and forget the spaza shop. But plan ahead, understand your finances, understand how you use money, and plan ahead. The last bit here, which is like a no-brainer, is use alternative banks. Okay. Capitec and FNB are not the only banks in town. They can't do this and think they can get away with it. Yes, they'll be making a killing, but there's different banks at different tiers. Okay, you can use different banks. Those who have different bank accounts with different banks, I think the withdrawals for some of these banks are cheap, virtually non-existent. So if you're looking at your bank zero, your time bank, you can dodge this. And for other people who use like your discoveries and Investec, they won't be affected by this. But it's now that thing where you have to now find smarter ways to move your money and use your money. Don't allow this to strangle you. But I said in the beginning, this will catch a lot of people off guard because of the ignorance. People don't read. people don't find out. And everything else, these people are not publicizing this as loudly as they should. So they're gonna say we did publicize this, but then what if only 1,000 people saw this out of 1,500 even reacted? That doesn't help the case. That doesn't help. This is a country of millions of people. They are about to milk it. They are about to make a lot of money. Okay, Capitec and FNB have changed the game for themselves for these next few months. They're about to make a killing. I don't know how that's going to come off in the next few months. I hope there's retaliation of some sort by the FSCA. But yeah, because it's not. This is exploitation of ignorance here. This is literally going to be exploitation of ignorance. But let's see how it goes. That's it with me. That's all I got. Usually I'd have two stories, but this time I got one. This was just deep. I thought about bringing up other stories. Like there was a case of a SANDF soldier that returned that killed two of his colleagues and then killed himself. The weirdest part is that he used a knife to do this. He used a knife to kill both his colleagues and then he killed himself with a knife. Odd, odd um, story there. But I thought, let me just leave that. That seems it seems complicated. You'll never understand the scars of war. So yeah, yeah. I hope our soldiers get better. And thanks for everybody that watched this. I appreciate it. Stay informed. Don't allow yourself to be exploited because of ignorance. That's a crap way to get exploited. But yeah, on to the next one. Cheers.